Hey, if you are afraid of not having enough money, running out of money, safety, not being able to find a job, or fear of the unknown in general, and that's holding you back from traveling, you're in the right place. Because in this video, I'm going to get into the things and fears that are holding me back and how I'm going about preparing myself to go ahead and do it anyway. So if that's something that interests you, stick around. So, my method of dealing with my fears is pretty much to do whatever I can to reduce or eliminate the odds of something happening. So the best way to explain this is to give an example. So for me, one of my biggest fears is actually running out of money. So because I know that's a huge fear for me, what I'm doing now, before I even start traveling, is saving as much money as I possibly can to put that away and support me. And so what that looks like for me is having at least a year's worth of expenses based, of course, on the cost of living of the countries I'm planning to be in. So that kind of eliminates that fear, because the more money I save, the lower the chances are of me running out of money quickly. Now, that doesn't mean I can't run out of money, but in between that time, I'm going to be looking for a job, trying to secure remote work. So that's how I'm dealing with my fear of running out of money. It's just saving as much as I can to prepare myself. And then another fear that I have, especially because I'm 23 years old, so of course I haven't been working long enough to retire, so retirement is actually one of my biggest concerns. And because of that, I've been diligently investing into my retirement accounts. And so even if I don't get a job that pays me as much as I am making now, or as much as I could be making if I were to stick around in the US, it'll be fine because I've already put the processes in place to make sure those accounts are funded. If that's something that you haven't done yet that you're interested in, I highly recommend you check out a retirement calculator or a compound interest calculator. They pretty much do the same thing. And so what I do with that is I put in the amount of money that I have in my retirement account right now, how much I'm planning to put in. It depends on the calculator you do. Some of them will have you put the amount that you'll be investing for every year, and some will have you put in the amount that you'll be investing every month. And so actually, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. This is the compound interest calculator. You tell it how much money you start with, how much you're putting in, and then it'll tell you what that money will be like however many years into the future. I always use the age 65 because, that's the typical retirement age. So it'll actually forecast how much money that will grow to based on the rate of return that I put in, which for me, I always do 10% because I invest in index funds, and that's their average rate of return. So yeah, that's the compound interest calculator. Now, for the retirement calculator, the way I use that is I work backwards from how much money I want to have by the time I retire. And so if you're at all interested in the FIRE, Financial Independence Retire Early movement, you've probably heard that you should plan for your annual spending times 25 and work backwards from there. So for me, if my annual spending times 25 comes out to $1,500,000, then I'll go to the retirement calculator and put that amount. That's how much I want. And then essentially it'll tell me how much I need to be investing monthly or annually to meet that goal based on the amount that I already have. If that's confusing at all, please let me know, because I can actually do another video on that, and I can do it in a format where I physically walk you through the websites I use, the information I put in. I can do that. So yeah, that's how I'm addressing my financial fear. Another fear that I have is safety. And this isn't just a travel abroad thing. I'm always afraid for my safety every day of my life. So do with that what you will. But the way I am sort of addressing that is I am watching videos by other female solo travelers, and they have recommendations. Certain things like door wedges, which is that have an alarm. You put them underneath your door, and that way if someone tries to open it, it's going to go off and make a loud noise, and that way you can sort of like get yourself together, wake up if you're sleeping. Another thing that I really like is there are door locks where, of course, you lock your room door, your hotel, whatever, wherever you're staying, you lock that door, but you can actually put this additional lock in and it'll prevent that door from opening even if someone has a key. So you can only unlock it from the inside, which is very comforting, to me at least, because you don't know who has keys to what, okay? And you're not trying to be surprised. Another thing is I'm very big on situational awareness. I guess part of that is being in the military. They kind of beat that into your head. So I pay attention to what's going on around me. If people look suspicious to me, I'm not sticking around to find out if they are suspicious. I am leaving, okay? So that's another major thing. The best advice I've heard so far from anyone is to trust your intuition. If something does not feel right, walk away. Y'all, you might look crazy depending on how you walk away, because I have situations where I have literally sprinted away from what I perceived to be danger and then later come to find out that it really wasn't. All I know is they weren't going to get me, okay? So what I'm not going to do is take chances with my life. And I think that's a good attitude to have when you're traveling, especially as a solo female traveler. Like, there are certain things that we fear or we're concerned about more than the average man is. And that's just how it is, unfortunately. Another fear that I have is a fear of finding employment, especially because I'm going to need a fully remote job, right? And I know those are competitive because everybody in their mind are trying to get remote work. I don't blame them. I am everybody, okay? Because I have that fear of finding employment, the best way I'm handling that one is, so there's something Stephanie Perry said that really stood out to me. She's like, you're making money now. You're feeding yourself now. You're eating good now. Why don't you think that you can do that again? And so that idea that if I can do it once, if I can make the money now, if I've been making the money these past however many years, why wouldn't I be able to continue making money in another way? So it's kind of that confidence of knowing that you've already done this, been there, done that, can do it again. So that's comforting. Another thing for me is, lost my train of thought. What's the other thing? Oh yeah, this helps me. And what it is I'll tell myself, worst case scenario, not worst case scenario, but I'll think of a last resort. So if I'm worried that I won't find employment, at the very least I know that as a native English speaker, I can always teach English online. Now, is that something I want to do? No. But it does help to know that the worst case scenario of not finding a job is not as likely, because people are always looking for English teachers, right? Now, the pay may not be what you want it to be, but you will be able to find employment. And so with that in mind, it actually empowers me to have confidence going into my job search and going into my traveling, because I know worst case scenario, I'm gonna still have a job. And so I can approach the job search from a place of confidence instead of desperation. Like I would be desperate if I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can get a job, you know? So yeah, if even after all of this, you are still afraid of running out of money and ending up homeless, the thing that's comforting me right now that might comfort you is knowing that you have someone you can call if things go left and the worst case scenario does happen. You run out of money, you're homeless. You have a friend or a family member who will let you crash on their couch, who will let you pull up an air mattress and lay out for however long you need to until you get it together. Now, I do understand that not everyone has that available to them, so I don't want to make the assumption that all of us do, but I am saying that if you have that, at least one person in your life that you know will be there for you, embrace it and allow that to empower you and give you the confidence to go after what you want to do. And I guess the biggest takeaway is you will always feel fear because you're human, right? But just don't let that stop you from going after the things that you're interested in. And I'm curious, do you have some of the same fears as me? Do you have other fears? Are you fearless? Because if you are, let me know how. Okay? Anyway, if you're interested in the upcoming videos that I have about how I'm financially preparing for this long-term, slow travel, digital nomad lifestyle, definitely subscribe and hit the notification bell, okay? Please. So I think my next video is going to be on how I'm financially preparing for this. And yeah, depending on if anyone's interested, I can also do a video showing the compound interest calculator, retirement calculator thing that I use to sort of help me forecast. Thank you for watching. I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.